What is going down, sourdough squad? How are we doing today on this beautiful Thursday? Good to see everyone. And is there anything to argue about today? Is there anything to discuss today? I don't know. Maybe a couple things, and we'll get into it all again. It's the off season, you know the vibes. We're gonna talk and berate and argue everything into oblivion. That's what we do here. So, but if you are vibing with the squad, drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button if you haven't already. Uh, Today's a good day. I'm excited because hey, it's your boy's birthday. Shout out Joey, appreciate you, man, for the birthday wishes. Shout out to anyone who has sent me a birthday wish and just said what's up or said happy birthday, man. It means a lot. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest with you guys. On Twitter earlier today, it was like a tidal wave of appreciation and love, and I felt it, and I just want to let you guys know. And I see it going in the chat, man. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys have no idea how much your support and your good vibes mean to me, so I appreciate it, man. I see you guys all in the chat. I appreciate it, man. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I got my first gray ginger beard hair. I got my first gray ginger beard hair. It's like right there. Your boy, I'm 33. So I'm 33. We're getting there. We're getting there to the tippy top. Shout out Cash the God. Appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate everyone saying happy birthday in the chat. I'm getting to that age though where I'm gonna start getting fatigued, I think. Just like I don't know if I'll be able to make it to be able to do entire seasons of potting and things like that, just because I might get fatigued. I don't know. We'll have to see. Shout out the boy Justin. Appreciate you, man. Really, really do. One of the OG SDS members. Shout out all the SDS. Shout out everyone showing me love. I really, really, really do appreciate it, man. You guys make my day so much better. I really do appreciate it, man. The love that you guys have been showing me today all over the socials has been overwhelming, to be honest. And I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. But before I I do have a huge announcement. I do have a huge announcement. Um Today is the day that I officially am qualified to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Like again, I don't know if I've been qualified in the past. It's been up for debate if you've been around this channel. But I believe, according to expert sources, that I am now officially qualified to be able to speak about the San Francisco 49ers. And let me show you why. Let me show you why really quickly, and why I think the channel is now going to go to new heights that it's never gone before. We're going to go places and do things that no one has ever done, just for this simple fact alone. Just this only. So I'm very proud to announce that your boy is officially a proud owner of a Jerry Rice jersey. Woo, we got the Michelin Ness. We got the Michelin Ness. We got the 75th anniversary patch stitched 94. Ooh. We're official, baby. You can't take this from me. You can't take this from me. Ooh, boy. It's we up now. Now you cannot stop the SDS. Before, oh, it's just YouTube channel, just SDS. Oh, I got the Rice jersey now, baby. Whoo! Look at that. We got the throwback patch and all the 94 Jerry Rice, Mitchell and Ness. Hey, shout out wifey. Shout out wifey, man. She was she I'm not gonna she doesn't watch all my lives, but hey, she happened to be watching the live where the guy crucified me because I didn't have the Jerry Rice jersey behind me. Again, I got a Willis, I got all kinds of jerseys, right? But I got crucified for not having and owning a Jerry Rice. Again, I was told I could not speak about the San Francisco 49ers if I didn't have a Rice jersey. Oh, well, now it's over, boys and girls. It's over. And again, shout out the wifey. This 2X, baby. The 2X is huge, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's a big boy jersey for sure. But I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited about that. And guess what? Now you can't stop me. Now you can't stop me. I got the Rice jersey. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do now? You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. This channel is going to the moon. SDS is coming with me. We are going to the moon. It does not matter. We got the Rice jersey now. We got the Rice jersey now. Let's go. Shout out wifey. Shout out wifey. City boys up. SDS up. The whole SDS gang just leveled up like 3 notches. Let's go. This all of us right now, baby. Shout out the legend. I hope that guy comes back one day. I hope he just comes back into the live and asks. That's my hope and dreams is that he just comes back and says, "Hey, did you have a Rice jersey yet? You got the Rice jersey yet?" And I'm gonna be like, I got it, baby. Exactly. You can't roast me anymore. You cannot roast me anymore for not having a Jerry Rice jersey. And again, it's not even my own doing. The wifey got it for the birthday, so gotta love it. And it's sick, man. Like the Mitchell and Ness authentic, uh, just stitched, all of it. It's very nice. It's a quality jersey. Like none of these are stitched. I'll be honest. These aren't stitched. This in the jersey rankings goes up to, I would have to say, number one. I mean, I love my Trent. I love my Trent jersey. You can't hate on P. Willie. I got an old school Garrison Hearst. I got my IU potty. Love the IU potty. But I mean the Mitchell and Ness. I mean, just one more time. Just one more time. One more time for the people. I mean, you see the stitching. Ooh, boy, let's go. Look at that. Look at that. Whew. Let's go. Throwback gang. That 90-94. Let's go. Hey, I'm an 80s baby. Last of the dying breed. 1989. Stand up. Let's go. I'm like an OG millennial. But hey, I'm excited. I love it. Shout out the wife, man. She I didn't even ask for it. That's the best part. Is I didn't even ask for it. She watched the live and was like, "How you gonna roast my baby like that?" Nope, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Dean says, "New place, upgraded the Wi-Fi, got the Rice jersey. It's your birthday. SDS is up. We to the moon. We to the moon. No one can stop us. No one can stop us. So we out here, baby." Uh, Someone saying lot. What is the okay? So now that I got the Rice, though, now that I got the Rice, and we are official like a referee with the whistle, we got the and we got the legit one. Like I'm talking about authenticated. But what is the next? Because there's always a next. But I freaking love the Rice. What is the next jersey? that needs to be added to the list. Is it throwback? Is it going to be ooh? We got the 80. I don't got a Montana yet. I don't got a lot yet. Brandon Lloyd loading number 84. Uh ooh, a Clark. Dude, the Clarks are nice, especially that like red. Ooh, I like that. Steve Young. Ooh, I like the Steve Young. That would be a fire one. Throwback Deion Sanders. Can't go wrong with that one. Can't go wrong with that one. And no, I don't have a Cowboys jersey. However, I do have a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey. That's a fact. Let's see. I've been thinking about it though. Like I've been thinking about like a throwback Jesse Sapolu jersey. That 61 legend for the O-line culture. Thinking about it. Thinking about it. I don't know. I feel like that would be spice. I feel like if I could collect like all the OG offensive linemen for the San Francisco 49ers, that would be sexy. I would like that. I would like that quite a bit. I think that would be a lot of fun. Um, but anyways, let's get past the jersey because now, oh, he meant to say the cow. Okay, that would be a good one. I would absolutely get that one. One of my favorite players. One of my favorite players. Ooh, this would be cool. Navarro Bowman right next to P. Willie. That would be legit. That would be legit. I want this one. This is a fact. This is a fact. I want this jersey. Like this is no cap. Like yeah, all the legends. Like I want the legends, but I want a freaking Deshaun Goldson jersey. I've always wanted a Deshaun Goldson jersey for sure. Uh, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if my bank account has the proper fitness to be able to allow me to extend multiple jerseys into the collection. We'll find out. We'll find out. But I do eventually want to start getting game worn jerseys. That's also the next flex. I want to start getting legitimate game worn jerseys, not so I can wear them, but so we can put them behind me. But we'll see. We gotta see what the finesse is like with the bank account, because hey, it's 2021. It's a little crazy out here. But so we gotta see if the bank account fitness will be able to last um through a calendar year. That's the biggest question. Will the bank account fitness last a calendar year? I mean, it's the thing that's on top of my mind, and now it's on the top of your mind. But in all serious, let's transition. All jokes aside, we all know why we're here. We all know why we're here. We're all here because again, the San Francisco 49ers, number 3 overall pick in last year's draft, is under fire yet again. Again. Uh, and it feels like we are back here in this like hamster wheel of talking points. Just this hamster wheel of talking points. And as we have heard yesterday from a CBS analyst who had spoken to players, current players, and current coaches, one of the things that he had mentioned was that Trey Lance, there's concerns about the arm fitness. Have you ever heard that before? Have you ever heard that? Now, I'm not at all going to tell you that I'm some kind of quarterback evaluation guru. However, I try my best, and I also think I'm pretty good at it. And I feel like I have a pretty solid track record of not only identifying good prospects, but identifying bad prospects. I have that ability, and I think it has led me into a correct line of work, let's say. And it continue. Hey, we're continuing to stack that resume. So, but when I through the I'm going to go ahead and throw out a number, like 10 years that I have been into the draft, actively looking at prospects through an evaluation lens, I have never once read, heard, or thought to myself, this guy is going to struggle with arm fitness. Like, what? Who? Arm fitness? I mean, if the guy was coming out of college at a solid 350, yeah, any kinds of questions about fitness will be 100% taken into account. If this guy is like, what was that one quarterback back in the day who was like solid 300 pounds, like rolling out of the pocket with the big beer belly? I mean, shout out to that guy. I mean, what a legend. Uh, like maybe we'll talk about overall fitness in that regard, but specifically arm fitness. My goodness, Cap says, I've been skipping my arm cardio this whole time. Who knew? Who knew? You know those like bikes where you hand pedal? Maybe that's what they're talking about. He needs to get the arm pedaling going. Yes, shout out Cap for that. I appreciate you. But yes, this is the name, the legend, RIP, absolute legend. Um if you don't know, please, I implore you, go look up his highlights. He is a freaking legend for big guys anywhere. But let's take a look again. So shout out to, I think it was 49ers Camelot, who writes for 49ers Web Zone. He asked Ryan Harris, who said this, and we got the response. And so let's look at the way he defined what arm fitness is. Arm fitness. It's I'm sorry. Well, I need to be more professional. I have a Rice jersey now. I should try to. I'm trying to be more professional. I have a Rice jersey now. If you haven't seen it yet, just in case, I have a Rice jersey now, authentic Mitchell and Ness. I have to be more professional now because now I've made it. Now I've officially made it. Anyways, from Ryan Harris, uh, this is his tweet to define what arm fitness is. The ability to consistently throw the football all season long and beyond the playoffs. Like, all right, let me continue. This can be fixed through focused off-season training and a commitment to arm care. So, if Trey Lance, if you're hearing that Trey Lance is struggling with arm fitness, and you're saying you're giving the cure to it, then that means you're implying, based on what you've heard, that Trey Lance is in fact not focused in off-season training and committed to arm care. Like what? Like what? Can I have your blue check, my guy? Again, all love. Again, Ryan might have stumbled onto the wasp nest here when it comes to talking about San Francisco 49ers quarterback and attributing the attributes that these continual unnamed sources are talking about. And so he's catching a lot of strays as a result. But to be honest, I have no problems with Ryan. He's a former offensive lineman, Super Bowl winner, probably great legacy as a player. But again, what are we talking about, Ryan? And again, all due respect. All due respect. I'm more making light of the my guy really said arm fitness. My guy really said arm fitness. Arm fitness. Like, what? The ability to consistently throw the football all season long and beyond the playoffs. Guys, I have to tell you, I am concerned for my personal pod fitness. I don't know if we're what are we? We're May 19th. I just turned 33. I don't know if my pod fitness will allow me to continue speaking into this microphone until the season is over and into the playoffs. So how I can fix that is in the off season. I got to work on strengthening my vocal cords and maybe ho 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 ho. I don't know, maybe doing some singing lessons, and then you're cured. Like, what are we talking about here? Trey Lance is in LA working with two sets of coaches. And this isn't like hearsay. I spoke to one of these coaches at the combine face to face. We stood there inside Lucas Oil and we talked about Trey Lance, a lot of other things. But one of the coaches that he's with right now, I spoke to him and he spoke to me and let me know how they're going about their training, what they're doing right now. And at least at that point at the combine, and yeah, you got it right here. These are his throwing coaches, but he also has speed coaches and running coaches. And so basically how it was told to me directly from the source is that they have a rotation going because they don't want to overextend Trey. One, they want to ensure that on each day, whether he's focused on speed training or whether he's focused on throwing, that they want him to be fresh. Fitness, fresh fitness. They want him to be able to fully apply what he's trying to learn in each individual session and not double up sessions so that he does get overextended, overworked, and overtired. So his speed coaches are also working with John Beck and Tom House, two of the best throwing coaches in the entire nation. Again, Tom House is a legend. Beck is a big time, big time up and comer, at least from a public perception standpoint. I think within the industry, everyone knows who Beck is, and clearly Kyle Shanahan trusts him with this quarterback. So I have legitimate insight onto what Trey Lance is doing from a fitness standpoint and the way that they've structured it and the way they're going about it. So this can be fixed through focused season training and commitment to arm care. So you're going to tell me so I know he's doing this. I know he's with Beck. I know he's with Tom House, and I know they have a very specific way that they're going about training not only his throwing and his mechanics, but also the speed and running element to it. So that to me sounds like a focused off season and a commitment to arm care. What does a lack of commitment look like? What is that? What is that? What does a lack of commitment to arm care look like? I'm more curious about that definition than anything else. Like what does a lack of commitment to arm care mean? Like he's just willy-nilly, like, you know, after he's done, throwing like 300 balls, with Beck and House, he goes bowling and just recklessly like is just chucking his arm. Like, what does that mean? So again, it's the way that they're prefacing it is interesting. Corey said, "Well, this could all be quieted if the Niners just name their number 3 pick the starter. They contribute to it." And I think there is a point. Obviously, the fan base wants definitives, and that's what we're looking for with a lot of things when it comes to the way the head coach, general manager, and anyone from the front office speaks. We want definitives. If we don't get definitives, then you leave it up to speculation. So if you don't get definitives, which they haven't definitively named the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback, then that leaves speculation open. Now we're hearing speculation that, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start. Chris Sims today. I don't know if it was today. I posted it today. I might pull a couple clips from it. We might look at it. But he's doing his quarterback rankings, and he ranked Trey Lance 31st on his rankings, which would be lower than Jimmy Garoppolo. And he was asked point blank, who is the better quarterback on the San? Who's the best? This was the question he was asked. He said, "Who's the best quarterback on the 49ers right now?" And he said, "Jimmy Garoppolo." So, and again, playing quarterback is so much more than just physical talent, physical tools. There's an intangible aspect to it. So, what we've heard from even Chris Sims in that particular interview, what we've heard from Steve Young is the intangibles Trey Lance seems to have, the smarts, the work ethic, the love for getting better, again, the commitment to taking care of his body and perfecting his craft. That's we've heard that from his doubters. His doubters are saying that he has a commitment. The intangible aspect is there. So we now have Chris Sims and Steve Young kind of echoing the same sentiments. So I will tie those two dots together. And the dots that they're connecting are not about arm fitness. No one gives a hell about arm fitness. I don't know if it was more of like, I'm creating something new and like I don't know. It was a weird definition, I guess, of like what they're concerned, like arm fitness, like what? He's a quarterback. It's literally what he does. He throws the football for a living. Like we're worried about him being able to play an entire calendar season. Like that's a legitimate concern. Like that arm that we have all seen, where he launches downfield, where he launches freaking bullets, can't hold up an entire year. That's a legitimate concern. I would have to disagree based on everything that I've seen. Now, there are other things that we can point to, though. It doesn't have to be like just this kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be. There can be other issues that people are concerned about that are valid. And I think the valid concerns, just so that like I we do so much, I think, focusing on, and shout out Corey for the super chat. Shout out everyone sending the super chats. I think we have so much concerted effort on defending Trey and defending like the justification of him being selected number 3 overall and the draft pick compensation. Again, it keeps coming back to that. Like it keeps coming back to those types of things. But if we're going to have an honest conversation about Trey Lance and what we think he is and what we think he can grow into, accuracy is 150% a legitimate thing to be concerned about. And I'll tell you why it's a legitimate thing to be concerned about, especially early. I talk about it all the time. Again, technique with some players, it is a learn, like technique can be really hard for guys to pick up, or technique can be very easy for guys to pick up. Again, I use my particular instance um, just to pull reference. And for me, I put high regard into guys who can kick step with fluidity versus guys who cannot, because it's not a foregone conclusion that if a guy is already kind of pre-wired and made it 4 years through college and is already kind of suffering, or not suffering, but just kind of has a or like a rigid kind of kick step, and it's not ultra fluid, and his base isn't set, like he hasn't good base, and he doesn't get good drop in his hips, and he doesn't have good fluidity moving back and forth. Like, you have to understand that just because, like, you think you can teach someone that doesn't mean they're going to pick it up, one, right away, but two, ever. So that is like a legitimate concern, because we do understand that the reason why Trey is with Beck and with these guys specifically is because they're retooling his mechanics. And so as you're retooling your mechanics, you're retraining your brain and what it thinks and wants to do naturally, opposed to a very rigid new style of, like, what is, I don't even know the name. It's like it's not physio, it's like, I don't know, biomechanics, I don't know. It's the way your body works, the way your brain connects to everything, things you do unconsciously, consciously. The technique, the reason why you rep it and you practice so much is so that when you get into the real game, it's like muscle memory. You don't have to think about it anymore. Once the muscle memory is there and your body just accepts this is how it is, then you're able to move forward and be able to be successful and get better and improve and then become defined in your technique. With Trey Lance, they are redefining not only his throwing mechanics of his actual arm, they're retraining his feet. So there's two aspects to this. So I don't expect that it is going to be something that's picked up like this. I don't expect that he's going to walk in and just look like a completely different quarterback. It's going to take time. It's going to take practice. It's going to take him getting out there, doing it with live reps and repping it in real life. Because if you go back to the Arizona game, I talk about the Arizona game all the time. You can see Trey going in and out of his old mechanics versus new mechanics. He was more fluid, in my opinion, in that particular game when he was relying on his older mechanics, because it was a comfort. It was something he knew. He didn't have to think about it. When you see some of those, like that dime to Brandon Ayuk, he had that little hop. He has a little rhythm step in the back of his hitch. You can go and you can go look and identify pieces of uh his training videos before he was with the 49ers and OTAs until after. And you can see the way that they were able to try to remove that hitch step. And so you can see those particular things throughout the tape all year. So just recognize that there's going to be a process involved. There's going to be uh, a patience involved in regarding to allowing Trey to take to the technique and it become who he is and not who he's trying to be. And so within that process, you are going to have ups and downs with accuracy. You're going to have ups and downs with being fluid, and things might look a little ugly on one play, might look a little better on one play, and you're essentially just trying to rep it so many times that that just becomes your nature. So again, it's interesting that these continued conversations can come out about a kid who is fundamentally retooling his mechanics. Everyone knows he's retooling his mechanics. Everyone should be able to rationalize what comes along with retooling his mechanics. And I don't know why it's being weaponized against him. like in the sense of like, well, he's not ready. Well, it's like the only way he can get ready is if you allow him to go out there and you rep it, do it, get the repetitions under his belt, be able to watch the reps, be able to go out there and actually do the reps, and with that comes muscle memory and everything else. And then hopefully they get the mechanics to where he wants to be, but it takes time. It takes time. So that's why I just don't understand, like, because when you look at the 49ers current quarterback, what did Jimmy struggle with? Jimmy struggled with accuracy. Would you say that Jimmy Garoppolo struggled with arm fitness? I mean, was his arm able to make it all the way through the year? But Jimmy is a veteran. Jimmy's been in this league for how long? And so it's just interesting to hear the way these things are being discussed. It's like, on one hand, you have a guy who is young, inexperienced, and going through a retooling of his mechanics. He is a physical specimen. He has the mental capacity and the intangibles to want to be great. But maybe right now he's going to struggle with maybe seeing the field, maybe fully understanding the playbook and being able to execute it. And then on top of that, having accuracy issues. Based on all the things that we've talked about, does that seem super far fetched that a guy who's retooling his mechanics, hasn't played meaningful football in a long time, and is young, is going to suffer with some accuracy issues, maybe learning the playbook and seeing and reading the field exactly like Kyle wants him to? That's why I'm having a hard time with understanding why it's being almost weaponized against Trey. Like, I fully expect there to be bumps and bruises along the road. And I don't understand why it keeps being discussed over and over again as if that can't happen. Like, and if that can't happen, that's more of an indictment to Kyle, John, for drafting someone that they needed to invest time and resources in to turn him into what they want him to be, knowing that he was coming out of college, not a finished product. So it's like that's the disconnect. It's like, is what's the expectation here? Is the expectation that just because the San Francisco 49ers selected Trey Lance at number 3 that he has to be perfect? You knew. You knew what you were signing up for. You knew that he was going to need a little polishing. So I just it just feels like the way everything is phrased. And again, who knows what really went on behind the scenes last year? Like, who knows? Like, who knows what's going on? But again, it's the continuous, like, I do we hear Trevor Lawrence spoken about like this? Do we hear Zach Wilson talked about like this? We don't even hear this from Justin Fields. We don't even hear from Justin Fields. No one talks about Mayo Mack because he landed in a phenomenal situation. And Mayo Mack, we talked about it. Like, he had the lowest ceiling, but he had the highest floor. We talked about it all off season. Like, I talked about this at length. Again, I never talked bad about Mac Jones. I just didn't want him at 3. But when you look at Mac Jones and you look at what he was, top tier processor. When it came to being able to move within the pocket, really good. He was going to escape the pocket. He wasn't going to create a ton, but he has the ability to move up, around, feel pressure, and then make layered throws, throw with anticipation. Didn't have the strongest arm, but all those types of things. You can look at Mac Jones coming out of Alabama, which is essentially a pro team, understanding always having the lights and everything on him. Again, I was at the Senior Bowl. I stood 10 feet away from Mac Jones at an interview, and you get to see how he operates. Nothing was new to him. He was absolutely uh, ready for the moment of being in the NFL. He was 100% ready. Like that was what you could see. And again, it was always when I talk about Justin Fields, Trey Lance, the thing was always a question mark with Trey. I don't know how Trey handles those things. I didn't get to see Trey Lance do that in 2020 because he didn't play, so we don't know how he handles expectations. We don't know we just don't know. And so that was always one of the things. But like, again, that's part of coming back to what is the expectation of Trey? Is the expectation that he is pro ready right away and is going to be a perfect prospect right now? Or is the expectation that he's going to be able to build, get better, polish certain attributes, and eventually become a top quarterback in this league? Because I think we can look, you see the measurables, you see the intangibles, you see the traits, all of it, it looks pretty good. So again, it's just this weird conversation. It's just this weird conversation around the quarterback for the 49ers. Again, I think a lot of it is because they know this is what we're going to do about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to, hey, shout out to, these media outlets who understand that the San Francisco 49ers have a ravenous fan base. I mean, look at our chat going on right now. You got people yelling at each other in the chat over quarterback. Like they understand. They got you guys. They got us. They got me. They know that if they come out and they say these things, we're going to share it. We're going to perpetuate it. We're going to retweet it. We're going to do pods on it. We're going to, that's what we're going to do. So you also have to understand that I think a part of this is maybe there's some truth to it, but it's being twisted into this situation that is like just it's unfortunate, I would feel like at this point. Because at a certain point, when does patience reign supreme? Like I get it. I talked about this with Jason last year. It feels like it's a 1 year league. They used to talk about, oh, we don't know who a player is until they've had 3 years in the league. You don't get 3 years in the league anymore. You get maybe like a year and a half, if that, maybe. And they're trading you. They're on to the next. There's no patience anymore because guess what? This is a bottom line business, and they don't have patience to wait 3 years and keep taking hits on the bottom line. So it's going to be ongoing. It's going to be ongoing. This is pretty much how I feel whenever we get one of these reports. I feel like this guy. This is what I feel like. I just I don't know if you guys know the meme, but we got the meme combined with George Kittle. This is pretty much how I feel. It's pretty much how I feel whenever I have to talk about this. That's why I can't wait for real football to come back. This is pretty much how I feel. I don't know if you guys know the reference. Shout out my mom. She drew that. It was fire. She drew that. I thought it was hilarious. But it's just my goodness. It's my goodness. It's like why is everything so definitive? Why, why can't we be somewhat open minded to all things? Why can't we look at things through multiple perceptions, multiple angles and viewpoints and lenses? Doesn't mean we're defining anything. It just means we're critically thinking about them and critically discussing them as potential options. Because guess what? There's a lot of ranges of outcomes, and to pigeonhole yourself into one particular range of outcome is you're going to get caught in a bad spot more often than not. So that's not something that I like to do. I like to keep my eyes open. I like to keep my ears open. I'm not going to be pigeonholed into one particular process or anything like that. So I think with this quarterback situation, it's going to be continuing to be ongoing. It's going to be an evolutionary process. It's not going to be like a finite process where what Trey Lance is week one against the Bears, assuming that he starts, is what he will be at the end of the year or the end of his second year or the end of his third year. So I'm more excited to see about Trey Lance at 24, 25 than I am to see him next year because I do agree that I think there's going to be some struggles. But again, comparatively, look at Jimmy Garoppolo and what Jimmy Garoppolo did last year. You can argue that Jimmy Garoppolo is an efficient quarterback. He's a Again, this isn't being said in a negative way. I think game manager, for whatever reason, gets a massive negative connotation. I understand why. But it's part of the process. If you can't manage the game, then all those attributes mean absolutely nothing. So with Jimmy, he was able to manage games. He was able to uh, have the intangible aspect. Again, you hear about his presence in the locker, not the lock, but in the huddle. And it seemed he seemingly had a calming effect on a lot of players, which means a lot in the high stakes, high pressure game that this is. So I think with Trey, you might lose a little bit of that. I think with Trey, you get the upgrade in measurable, you get the upgrade in arm strength, you get the upgrade in mobility, you get the upgrade in pocket presence, you get the upgrade from that standpoint. But I think they might be kind of viewing it as it's a bit of a downgrade in the sense of a management position because he's still learning. He's still learning the offense. He's still, again, Jimmy's been here, what, 4 or 5 years in the same scheme, in the same playbook, repping it day in, day out. He knows this stuff where Jimmy is he's the greenhorn, like he's still, or I said Jimmy, Trey is still learning, he's still getting comfortable. So again, it's just like, why can't we just talk about it like that? Like, why can't we just talk about it like that? Like, you know what, I just but hey, wouldn't be a better birthday if I didn't get to talk about Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, media speculation, and just everyone's awesome opinions about the quarterback position. So hey, why not? Why not? Um, so we're gonna find out, man. Again, that's what I love about football. That's what I love about scouting. Because scouting, again, if you're trying to scout like in a like a I don't even know how to like what how I would say it. Like if you're trying to scout in a vacuum, like this player that I'm scouting right now, like you have to build in and out project out what they are going to grow into. With Trey Lance, You drafted him for the ceiling. We knew he had a floor. We knew that. Again, that's part of the scouting process. Again, that was the comparatives that we made to Mac Jones. The floors were much different, where Mac Jones had an immensely higher floor, meaning you knew for the most part what you were getting. Like, will Mac Jones get better? Probably, but will he get exponentially better? I don't know. He'll get better with his mind, but from a physical standpoint, he's not going to get faster. He's not going to get a stronger arm. Those are the things that you talk about where like he's not really going to probably grow from that aspect, but he is going to grow from the aspect of mental processing and things like that. So that's why he had Mac Jones had such a higher floor, but we knew with Trey Lance his ceiling is so high and so much higher in my opinion than Mac Jones if we can do all the things that they want to do. Get those mechanics down, get the mechanics down so accuracy doesn't become an issue. Uh, get the processing down to where it becomes second nature. He sees the field better and things like that. And if that can happen, then the sky is the limit. So, but again, yeah, he's played 2 games. So how are we supposed to understand what he's going to be? Yes. Mac absolutely has to be working on his arm fitness right about now. So, I mean, hey, Mac Jones almost threw the football out the building. Remember when he hit the ceiling on his pro day? It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. But I am interested though. Like, let's open it up because obviously I see there's a lot of conversations going on, and I don't want to just preface it in a way like, oh, we can only talk about Trey Lance in a positive light. Like, and not to be negative about Trey Lance, but if you have concerns, that's okay. Again, there's a difference of speaking about concerns in a definitive manner and opposed to voicing concerns that are more than likely valid. So if you have concerns, what are they? I'm open to hearing from you. You know, we don't have to just be a show where we're just focused on the positive, and we are. We're always going to be positively based because that's just the vibes that we have. But I am open to hearing your concerns and being able to talk about the concerns and maybe put a little bit of a put the fire out on some of the concerns, maybe a little bit, just maybe a little bit. Hendrick says, I'm not concerned with Trey. I'm concerned with coaching and front office and how they've handled the Jimmy situation. I mean, I think I would agree with you on that, Hendricks. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of how this situation has gone so far. And it was one of my biggest concerns before was like, I've always felt in my bones that Kyle doesn't like rookies. I've always felt that. Like, that's why I was like, I hope we get the one because I just always felt like like Kyle is a perfectionist in the sense of like he doesn't have the patience for the baby steps. Like, he's like, we are advanced, like we're AP calculus, like we're AP trigonometry. We're not gonna wait for you to get through algebra 1. Like we're rolling, baby. Like, that's what I kind of always sense with you know with Kyle. So I can understand that. Like, that's always been a concern before they took any quarterback was just like, does he want a rookie? I always felt that he wanted a veteran. That's going back to the conversations about Deshaun Watson and Matthew Stafford. That felt like the most actual reasonable outcome for Kyle. But when those two quarterbacks disappeared, it felt like he had to get a rookie uh, based on where they were at that particular time. Joey says mechanics and ball placement are my concerns. Hopefully, this work with Beck and House can clean that up a little bit. And absolutely right. Absolutely right. Like we can look at instances again. You can go to Arizona Cardinals and you can pull that game week 5 when I would say he was the most raw form. You can pull clips where he's throwing darts and dimes, and you're like, ooh, that's nice. But you can also see clips where balls are getting away from him. Again, one of the his first interception that he ever threw, that ball got away from him because he kind of dropped his arm angle and the ball sailed up. Uh, you could point to that. So I agree, but that to me that also is an experience thing. But it is interesting though when it comes to ball placement and kind of accuracy because Steve Young said this. He said that's kind of an intangible trait that you have and is hard it's hard to teach someone that. So, oh boy. Spams with the emoji. Sorry. We're just we, I think he got. I think the mod squad beat me to blocking him. So shout out the mod squad. We see you working mod squad. Shout out the mod squad, baby. Shout out the mod squad. You guys blocked him quick. Let's see. I'm gonna try to look again. I do. If you guys have concerns, let's talk about the concerns. Let's voice them. This isn't a place where it's all sunshine and rainbows all the time. Like we can talk about things that we're concerned about. Um, Demon says, I'm concerned with the team. I think they took a step back and the fans are going to play Trey. I actually don't think they took a step back. I I know we have concerns about the offensive line right now, but I really don't think they took a step back. I actually think they took a step forward. And again, if Debo's here to stay, if all things considered, the offensive line isn't a dumpster fire, and like I think there's a fear that we have as fans that like, oh, like we saw what the offensive line looked like without Alex Mack and we don't want to go back to that, like, and there's questions like there's no Laken Tomlinson now, and so I understand the concerns with the offensive line, but when you look at the weapons, you look at the depth, you look at the defense, you look at special teams, I I'm going to say the defense got better, and the defense was the reason why the San Francisco 49ers went to the playoffs, in my opinion. In my opinion, they won that many games. They won the game against the Bengals with no cornerbacks because of D'Amico Ryans in that defense, because of guys like Nick Bosa, because of guys like, Jimmy Ward and Kowalski and Fred. Like they won us a lot of games. They kept us in a lot of games. So it feels like they've doubled down on that mentality by adding a ton more defense. And as a result, they're going to be able to play the three phases game. They're going to be able to play elite defense, potentially elite defense. Their special teams, I feel like, took a step when you again, people always we had so many conversations about this last last year, right? About why their special teams, like for lack of a better word, sucked. Like why their special teams was so god awful. They were so thin with depth. And once they started getting injuries to starters, that special teams depth evaporated. And then all of a sudden, we got guys that we're calling up on Johnson. We're calling up guys that aren't on NFL teams mid-year into the year, and they are playing special teams that week. That is a huge cause for concern and a huge indication, in my opinion, why the special teams suffered as a whole. So I feel like they addressed that. that they got rid of their old special teams coach. They brought in some new blood. They got new depth. They got tons of depth now. And where it's going to be really hard to point at this team and be like, hey, they don't have a lot of depth. I'd say it's one of the strongest points of this team. And I think that will help. I think that will help uh, guys like Trey Lance. It's not going to put the emphasis back on the offense again. Uh, I just don't think I just don't think, you know, oh, Mac Jones. All right, I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss, because we are kind of talking about concerns and I do want to address concerns. So I'm kind of back up in the chat. I'm not at the bottom. Sean says, I'm concerned about the support from that front line. Kind of suspect. We talked about that. Yeah, it is kind of suspect. We don't know right now. We really don't know. But again, a benefit of having a quarterback like Trey is you can use zone read. So the benefit of having zone read is you don't have to block guys. That's the best part. Being able to utilize zone read and manipulating people at the mesh point is that you don't have to block defensive ends anymore. You can actually take the best defensive end on the team and you can ISO him and force him to either crash on the running back or stand and wait for the zone keeper. So that's the beauty of what Trey offers, with a little bit of a concern to the offensive line, is that we're going to see a lot more zone read, I think. I don't want to see the designed runs. I don't want to see quarterback powers. There's a difference. I don't want to see that. I think that's a recipe for disaster. And we saw time and time again, pull up the tape, literally, like of Trey almost like getting his neck snapped. Like, it's a terrible decision to run him into the teeth of a defense head first. No, but if you want to do zone read, okay, that's a different conversation. Then we're manipulating defensive ends, linebackers, and safeties, which is ultimately what we want to do. So that's a different conversation. And then it also provides aid to your offensive line. So that's the benefit that you get from having a mobile quarterback and being able to introduce zone read. NYC says, I like Trey and can't wait for the season to get started, but my biggest concern is Trey being able to have the finesse and be able to hit those midfield passes and work on the overthrows. And there's valid points to this as well. You can go back to the Houston game. There's a play that instantly pops into my brain. The play where he had Trent Sherfield rolling over the middle of the field, and instead of kind of laying it out there for Trent to run under it, he darted it at him, and as a result, you got an underneath linebacker who kind of sucked up and then dropped back into the passing lane, jumped up and tipped it. It would have been a walk-in touchdown. But again, a little bit more finesse, a little bit more of like one of the, a little Kobe, maybe like instead of just a rocket to a spot, you throw it with a little finesse, you kind of pop it up. It would allowed Sherfield to run over it. You would have been able to throw to a different window, and it probably wouldn't get tipped, and it would probably be a walk-in touchdown. But those are things that are correctable. Those aren't uncorrectable. You know what I mean? I just think that's the experience that we talk about, like being able to recognize that, being able to understand that, and being able to move forward and learn from those things. But I agree. I think those are things that come with experience. um, Hendrick says you can't be afraid of the process when you give up all those picks. You knew what you had when you picked him, a project quarterback with high ceiling. Just let the kid play, man. I agree, man. I agree. Just let the kid play. Let him play. Build an environment of belief around him. Set him up for success. Put him in a position where it's not doesn't have to be AP trigonometry at first. It could be a little bit of maybe a little bit of algebra, maybe a little bit of geometry, and work your way up. So make sure he's comfortable with the fundamentals first, which I again, it's just I'm sure they're doing, but I just don't feel like to expect him to come out and just be all knowing. Just feels like a setup for failure. Um, Justin says, I feel like Trey will struggle, maybe, which I would agree. I don't think he's going to be bulletproof, but he'll also have some amazing moments out of structure. Yes. Yes. And that I think is what a lot of us are really excited to see is him creating, him taking a play that breaks down and then him being able to do a lot of different things off that, extending plays. That's going to be the really fun stuff. I'm really excited to see that. Really, really excited to see that. Let's see. Hey, shout out the mods though. I see you guys working. Shout out the mod squad, baby. Shout out to mod squad's undefeated. Shout out the mod squad, man. So happy for the mods, man. Couldn't do it without the mod squad, I tell you. I couldn't tell you. I could not do this without the mod squad. Again, coming, you can spam all you want, but you're gonna get clapped by the mod squad. Shout out the mod squad. You see all those blue wrenches out here, man. They don't play. And I got their my full support to the mod squad. You come in talking reckless, you're probably going to get clapped. That's all good. We keep the vibes at a very certain level here. And again, we can talk about things. We don't have to agree on everything, but we hold ourselves to a standard. So if you're going to come and talking reckless, be ready to get clapped by the mod squad. Just saying. Shout out the mod squad. Shout out the mod squad. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, we got a super chat. Justin said, compared across the league, where does Trey rank in length of arm motion? Not Jimmy short, but not Cap long. Would be curious. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of like all the quarterbacks off the top of my head that have longer releases. I don't know. Does Patrick Patrick doesn't necessarily have an ultra compact release, like just from the way that I'm thinking about it. Like he throws from different arm angles. Like he'll throw tight, but he'll also sidearm. He'll like he'll wrap around. Like he has one of those ambidextrous, well, not ambidextrous, but like natural accuracy, like a natural throwing ability, like where he can throw off his back foot, can throw falling to the side, like he can throw from every single arm angle imaginable. I'm trying to think of like someone who would have a long kind of arm motion like that. Uh, he's got a. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like he's got a pretty big windup. He's got a pretty big windup. I don't know if Cam Newton would be a comparison. Uh, that's a good question, man. It's a great question. Um, nothing's jumping out to me. I would say he has a pretty long, like a pretty just really drops that thing down, comes up to that 90, and if you really watch, he kind of throws with his elbow first, and it's like a whip almost. He kind of you'll see some accuracy issues happen as a result because when he whips it, if he doesn't whip it right, it can like get a little wild on him. And I've broken it down on tape before. We've done lives on it. But I don't think it's crazy concern. I think coaches are, especially in the NFL, are very particular about the timing. I think they're more concerned about the time because you only have 2.5 seconds to throw. The average ball is out of a quarterback's hand in 2.5 seconds. Like that thing is gone. And if you don't, you're probably getting sacked because that's what, offensive linemen aren't expected to block really much more than 2.5 seconds. Like the ball better be gone. Um, so I think the only thing with the arm motion is they just want it tighter. Just want it tighter. Instead of the big looping motion, I think they just want it more kind of compact in that particular sense. Again, I'm not a quarterback guru. I'm a former offensive lineman. I've scouted a lot of quarterbacks, but I would say that's what they're trying to accomplish. Instead of that kind of like looping, kind of whipping, it's more of just like compact out, is the way that I particularly view it. But I could be wrong about that. But that's just what I've seen. Gabe, shout out Gabe. Appreciate you, my boy. He says, "Happy birthday, Brad. Feels like a good day to say I appreciate your content and the community you created. It's helped me get through some hard times. Oh, and I'm sure others feel the same." Hey, that hits home, Gabe. I appreciate, and I'll say this. We're gonna probably get a little too real for some of you right now, but that's okay. You guys have helped me get through some really hard times. You guys know that I'm pretty forward thinking in regards to mental health and things like that. And I'm not going to pretend like there have been days when I have hopped onto this and we've done lives where I've felt the worst possible way. And you guys, the SDS has made me feel better. So if I can make help get you guys through good times, I'll just say it right back to you. You guys have helped me get through some really tough times. Some of the hardest times of my life have been while I've came on and done lives with you guys. Like you guys don't even know. So that does hit home, man. And Gabe, I appreciate you, man. I've seen you in here for a long time. I appreciate all you guys. Like I said, like I'm not perfect. I struggle with a lot of things, and I've had some bad days when I've had to come on live, and you guys are the guys that have actually helped me. The vibes in the chat, the SDS, the Mod Squad, you guys have brought me back. So I want to thank you guys, and of course, shout out Gabe. I really do appreciate that, man. James, the homie, always showing love, says, "Happy birthday, brother. Keep on keeping on it 100%. Your view on all this is spot on. Who are the top two guys you want to see replace Mac if he does retire?" I would say the top two guys that I would want to see replace Mac is probably Brunskill, just for experience alone. Uh, I would I would prefer to keep him at guard, but I also understand that the experience that Brunskill now has could be invaluable for that particular situation. So I'm gonna say one, Brunskill. Two, that's a tough one because I really like the thoughts of Zakel or Donovan West. I'm not sure about Poe just yet. I I think he has a shot. I think he has a shot, man. I think Poe absolutely has the ability to be a player in this league. I think he has great traits considering the height disadvantage that he has. Uh, but I don't. It feels like Zagel and Donovan West are going to be battling it out. Didn't even mention Brendel, Jake Brendel, who's the center to pretty much all of last year. He'll obviously be up in the running for that. he's going to be a guy that also comes with the experience. But if I had to lean one veteran and one undrafted or one rookie, I'm going to say probably Brunskill and probably Zakel. That's a tough one. Zakel, maybe Donovan West, maybe Poe. Just put those pads on, and he really just blows them away. Uh, we'll see, man. We'll see. But again, shout out everyone showing love. Really, really do appreciate you guys, man. SDS, we built different. We're built different. So shout out everyone who always got good vibes. We appreciate you. But I'm pretty excited, man. I'm pretty excited. Again, also too, I think I talked about it not too long ago, but shout out Jordan from, of course, you guys know Jordan from Niners Nation. He interviewed Zakel's uh, offensive line coach, and I love the perspective and the foresight that Zakel had. I think based on Jordan's interview with Zakel's former offensive line coach at Fordham, essentially was talking about this like and based on like the way Jordan talked about it and the way his coach talked about it, it felt like, and again, I'm not confirming or saying this is what happened. I think you can enter your name like into this consultant. I don't even know how it works. I think someone will grade you. I think someone will grade you like, or they'll like give you a like, we think you are projected to go here. So like your junior year, you can like submit like, well, I don't know, your tape or whatever to some, I don't know, some blanket consultation firm, and they will like kick back out to you like what they think your value is in the upcoming draft. And then I think it's a tool for some players to be able to decide, well, if they're evaluating me at a seventh round grade right now, if I were to come out as a junior, well, then maybe it makes more sense for me to go back, play my senior year, work on the things that they say I need to work on, and then come back and try to elevate my draft stock. So I kind of believe that could be what motivated against more speculation than anything else. But Zakel went into his senior year, and they kind of prefaced it like he had a chip on his shoulder about going into his senior year, about being overlooked. And so that's why I think it had to do with maybe that kind of pre-evaluation. Maybe they didn't give him a draftable grade. Maybe they said he was going to go undrafted. I don't know. Maybe he said something about he profiles more to being an interior offensive lineman at the NFL. So whatever, Zakel went into his senior year, went to his coach and said, I want to learn center. I want to learn how to snap. I want to learn the stance. I want to learn, because going from tackle to center is huge difference. So being able to start to fundamentally work, and again, we talked about muscle memory before, just getting that muscle memory going. I think, I don't know, he could be, again, we saw it from a trait standpoint, from his traits where I was like, yeah, this dude could play center, no, easy. He has the mobility, the footwork, uh, the bend that you kind of need to be able to get low, like where tackles kind of typically sometimes play a little higher. Um, so, and I think that's why the 49ers drafted him. I think they drafted. I think it's wild that there's now. We are finally starting to understand how the 49ers are kind of building and scouting their offensive line. Like, I'll be honest with you, as someone who's tried to scout Kyle, tried to scout John and Adam Peters, and like what traits that they go after with offensive linemen. There's we don't have a big sample size. We have Mike McGlinchey, who was a lateral move, right? Mike McGlinchey was a lateral move. They traded Trent Brown and then took Mike McGlinchey at 9. So it was more of a replacement. And so that told me traits because Trent Brown was a fantastic pass blocker, but he was ass when it came to run blocking. Okay, well, what did they do? They went and got Mike McGlinchey. What is Mike McGlinchey good at? Run blocking. What is he working on? Pass blocking. So I could instantly pull the archetype switch there. They were getting away from pure pass blockers and they wanted run first offensive linemen. Okay, well, who came down the line next? Justin School came next. Justin School, he has some athleticism to him, but he's still kind of like uh prototypical tackle. I wouldn't say he was a guard. And then they go after guys like Colton McKivitz. I think Colton McKivitz was like that gold helmet prospect, where they have him as like one of their top prospects on the board. And Colton has never really stuck. He hasn't been able to beat out Daniel Brunskill, who was an undrafted free agent, converted uh, tight end to tackle, then tackle to guard. And I think that's kind of where I think Brunskill's. I really think Brunskill. God, I try to tell you guys. I think Brunskill means a lot to them on that coaching staff. Like I do. I think his versatility, the way he can play multiple spots, I think they see the value, that all the value in that. Um, and that's why Zakel reminds me of Brunskill. He literally reminds me of Brunskill. You're starting to see now them draft uh, tackles. You're starting to see them draft tackles, and then they're moving them to interior. So tackles typically have more athletic traits, and they're longer. They have longer arms. Um, and they're moving them to the interior. So it just feels like they're trying to move towards having a very athletic offensive line. And that is pretty exciting. That is pretty exciting. I like it. I'm pretty excited about it. And I think we're starting to kind of see now an actual archetype that we can attack and pinpoint and be like, okay, we're starting to see the way it's moving. And Matt Mayoko on his podcast yesterday straight up said that they've moved Jalen Moore to guard. That's news to me. I I wouldn't agree with that move based on what I've seen, but hey, it fits the archetype of what they're trying to do. Justin says, Brad, did you hear that Jordan Mason looked very natural receiver the first day of training camp? My guy Justin's been all over it. Again, one of the things that Justin's pointed to about Jordan Mason is his ability as a pass catcher. And again, I feel like that running back 3 rolls up for grabs. So when I say running back 3, I mean the passing down running back, the third down back, because that's actually been typically held by Jermichael Hasty. And I don't think Jermichael Hasty's really done enough to solidify that that's his job. Jordan Mason definitely looks like an upgrade. I, if you tell me that Jordan Mason makes the roster over Jermichael Hasty, I will not be surprised. And we will be giving Justin all his flowers because he's been all over Jordan Mason from the very second uh, it went down. So I want to be surprised, man. And I think they're going to be wanting to throw to their backs this year more. And he could be a beneficiary of that. Shout out Brian. He says, "Happy birthday, Brad. Respect you so much, boss, and the element you bring to football coverage and addressing the human element. A lot of people react to generic stuff, but you keep it real, man. SDS forever." Shout out all my SDS, man. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you, Brian, for showing the love. I really, really do. My boy Cap. Speaking, OGs know. OGs know. But I do appreciate all you guys. Thank you to everyone who sent me a birthday wish, sent me a super chat, just showed good vibes, just been a solid member of the SDS, man. Solid member of SDS. I appreciate you, man. I really, really do. Appreciate all you guys. So pretty excited, man, about this potential of the offense, the offensive line, what's it gonna look like. It's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be up. It's gonna be down. A lot of questions. That's why just get us to camp. We couldn't get to camp any sooner. Again, rookie mini camp starts on the 20, not rookie mini camp, excuse me. OTAs, organized team activities start May 23rd. So we're gonna have more 30-second individual warm-up drill clips to get excited about. You know what I think we need? You know what I think we really need? We need, again, if I got any of my 49er media friends tapping in, lurking in the background, we need some Trey Lance hype. We need some some solid Trey Lance hype. Just give us a nugget. Just give us, oh jeez, crazy, crazy spam, crazy spam bots, bro. But just give us a little Trey Lance hype. Just give us not the Tua hype, not the Tua hype. Give us the Trey hype. Just a nice little package. Maybe 3, 4, 5 just throws. Maybe get a throw to the outside. Maybe get a throw down the seam. Maybe get a nice throw over the middle. Let's get just a nice little tray package. Just a nice little tray package. Just just to calm the talking a little bit, just a little bit. I think that would be nice. I think that would be nice. So we'll see. We will see. I mean, Niner by Nature says, "How long did it take Trey to learn the playbook?" I mean, I'm sure he's still learning it. I don't think he's mastered it. Uh, I know Jimmy is on record saying that it took him like 2, 3 years. You've heard guys like Debo. You've heard you've heard a ton of people talk about how hard it is to learn that offense. I'm telling you, Trey doesn't know it yet. It's going to take 2 to 3 years, but like functionally executing it before then he can start maneuvering within it. I think that's again part of the disconnect. Like, if you expect Trey Lance to be able to step into this Kyle Shanahan playbook, not like Kyle's playbook, not a modified playbook to fit Trey, those are two different things. If you're taking Kyle's playbook and you're pairing it for Trey Lance, that is much different than Kyle's full freaking playbook. Like, those are two different things. And if we're talking full playbook, I'm talking 2, 3 years of starting, 2 years. Give me 1 full year to go through all the bumps and bruises of learning what not to do, what to do, how to work in this situation, how to work out of that situation. But year 2 of starting the full playbook, that's where the mastery comes. And I think we could all speak to that in anything that we do. The more repetition, the more experience, the more comfortable you feel, the better you get at mastering these types of things. So I'm gonna give him 2 years. I'm gonna say it's gonna take 2 years of him starting to like master it in the sense of being able to see the entire field and manipulate defenders with his eyes, being able to look off safeties, being able to understand defenses are keying on this particular tendency. So I'm going to sell this tendency, but we're really going in a different direction. I think the next nuanced level, it's just gonna take some time, man. It's gonna take some time. Uh, and I think this is exactly it. The verbiage is extremely hard. It's probably why I would never be a coach. It's probably why, again, you guys know I got ADHD. I got borderline dyslexia. Like the numbers, the wording, like forget about it. Like um I'm lost at sea. Give me a nice pretty picture and then we're talking. But again, like that's hard part is the verbiage, understanding what each verbiage then triggers and then means and indicates. And then again, it's based on defense. So if you call something in the huddle and you come up and they're running a particular type of scheme, your play is then modified without speaking based on the coverage. That means I have to read the coverage correctly, but knowing that I'm on the same page with my receivers, that they are reading it the same way. There's no nonverbal communication, and that we are on the same page without talking. That's hard. Like that takes practice, that takes repetition, it takes just doing it. So I imagine it's going to take some time. I don't expect him to just come out and like again just be this veteran. Like he's going to be a rookie, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay. 100%. I think that's okay. Like I think we he deserves that. Like we didn't draft like a 27-year-old Brandon Whedon out of Oklahoma in the first round, and he has to play right away. Like that, there's a different context there. Like Trey's 22 years old. Give him some time. Give him some time, please, and allow him to learn. And let's put it in again. Imagine, imagine, like we're gonna end on this. We're gonna get a little imaginary, and then we're gonna call it. I'm headed to the city. I got a big steak on my mind. A big steak. I'm getting steak for dinner. Headed to the city. I'm getting some steak. It's my birthday. I got the Rice jersey. I don't care if there's bots in the chat. I don't care if people are arguing in the chat. I'm hyped. So I don't even know what I was gonna say. I legitimately was gonna say something like profound, and I squirreled myself about steak. That's how you know I was a former offensive lineman. That's how you know I'm a former offensive lineman. I literally was gonna say something profound, and I said steak, and my mind literally went to steak. And then I'm like, wait, what was I even gonna say? I'm over here thinking about steak now. That is the ultimate squirrel right there. That is the ultimate squirrel. I'm not even mad about it. I'm not even mad about it. I want to get some steak. I want to get some steak now. I don't even know what I was gonna say. My goodness. My goodness. It was going to be a banger too, whatever I was going to say, but the steak just nice medium rare. Maybe some mac and cheese on the side. Ooh. Maybe ooh. I'm ready for some meat sweats tonight, baby. I'm ready for the meat sweats. Let's go. Oh, I was talking about something imaginary. Came back to me. It came back to me. But I am very, very looking forward to the meat sweats. I was try we were actually I was trying to go to the House of Prime Rib. That's where I was trying to go. They didn't have any reservations. So I found another place that looks fire too. So not terribly upset about it, but I was trying to go to the House of Prime Rib. Um, but just imagine like we lived in a world where everyone just like believed in Trey, like didn't have to question if Trey was the starter, like and knew that he was going to develop and take some time, and everyone just knew that. Everyone. I'm talking about media, players. There's no Jimmy Garoppolo. Like it's just Trey. He is the unquestioned starter. We understand he's going to take time. We know this. Just imagine the difference of like the tone of this conversation that we're having. Like if we all just knew that and we all just were okay with it and didn't have to argue about it. No, Jimmy. Oh no, Trey. Oh Jimmy. Oh, it's a Trey. Like if we just knew, like imagine that world. I think Trey would be a lot more successful in that world because all of this conversation is just putting more pressure onto him and it's putting pressure onto the 49ers. So we'll see, though. We will see. Like I said, I got steak on my mind, so much so that I pretty much forgot the last thing I was going to talk about. So I'm going to go eat some steak. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to get a monster steak. I don't know what, maybe like a bone in rib eye. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. It's going to be something delicious, and I cannot wait. Um, so I'm gonna go eat steak tonight. I'm not gonna worry about the quarterback situation. Uh, it is what it is. But you already know we're gonna be back to talk about it. We're gonna be back to talk about it. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back live, and then Monday OTAs begin. We get some football. We get some football back. So excited about that. But yeah, shout out to everyone today, man. I know the chat was a little crazy, and it's always going to be crazy when we're talking quarterback. I think the SDS and I think the mod squad knows that. Whenever we are talking about the quarterback, we know there's going to be some shenanigans going on in the chat. So again, still great vibes from everyone. Shout out everyone. All the guys sent me super chat. Appreciate all the birthday wishes. I appreciate you guys, man. The SDS, we're built different. I'm telling you. We're still just getting started, baby. We're still just getting started. Smash that like button if you haven't already. I'm excited to see the way we continue to grow. Shout out everyone as always, and I'm gonna go eat. Get that steak. Let's go. Appreciate you all. SDS, we up, and you already know the vibes. Like yeast, we rise. Let's go, baby.